Hey everybody, welcome back to Hollow Knight, and we're gonna do all of Grimm Troupe in one video, and also the optional Dreamer fights.
You thought we was done. Well, we're almost done, but we're not done.
I thought I was done until they decided, hey, have some DLC. But yeah, first we're gonna start off with the Dreamer pack that they came out with beforehand. It was basically 2 optional boss fights that you could do. The first one is this guy.
Isn't that the Poop Knight?
That is indeed Dung Beetle Knight.
It's one of the times you get to actually hack into someone's dreams without them being a corpse.
Yeah. He's mostly the same, but he does have a couple new attacks. For the most part, he gets new builds, but he also gets Akuma's level 3 super from Third Strike.
Either Akuma's, or I could also see that as Raging Storm.
Oh yeah, Geese slash
Rock.
Yeah, Rock. I was like, what the hell is Grease's son's name? Now, I rarely do these fights mainly because they're not they're not like mandatory, but also they're kind of really hard. Like, I have a hard time dealing with, you know, mass projectiles, so White Defender here is a little problematic.
That one looks like you have to dash through it.
Yeah, like, these are the fights that expect you to have pretty much everything ready. The amusing thing about this, though, is that one of the story bits of Dung Defender, if you look into his story, is that he was he fell from grace with the White King because of his martial technique.
I mean, if you knew someone who fought with shit.
Yeah. This is kind of like his dream of ideally defending the kingdom, which is why he's, you know, pristine white.
And that's why he's called the White Defender.
Mm-hmm. And you can also see the White King and his 4 knights in the background there. If I had to hazard a guess, one of them is the chick we did the escort quests with. One of them is the first boss we fought, the armored thing.
Yeah, False Knight, except for the real one, probably.
Yeah. The one on the second on the right there, I believe, is the Queen Bee, but I'm not 100% sure. And I don't know what the 4th one is.
The 3rd and 4th one are DLC 2 and 3.
Yeah, probably. Now here's the interesting thing. If you fight the Dung Beetle more, you get more of his backstory. Like, you hear more trivia about him and the 4 knights and the White King. But for each victory you do against him, he gets 1 more damage on refights. Which means if you get to like 8 refights, he can one-shot you.
Does he change in difficulty, or does he fight the same way?
He fights the same way, he just has more damage. And it's a refight, so it's a refight that gives you 400 soul currency every time, so you cannot run out of soul currency. Now there's another dream fight I want to do, but I'm trying to figure out my equipment here.
Getting your shoulders rubbed by a certain caterpillar lady.
Yeah, she's very affectionate.
Hey, at least you got love at the end.
Yeah? So did Zote.
Zote didn't deserve it, though.
Yeah. But, this is gonna be a weird dream fight.
Oh, don't go into a stalker's brain.
Yeah, I don't know how this works because we're infiltrating the dream of a shrine of someone's fan fiction.
Oh god, that bed is making me uncomfortable.
So here's an interesting thing. These things don't have motion blur. They're just designed to be blurry, so when you fall, it's a lot more interesting.
Oh my.
So how do you feel about fighting fan fiction? Zote is really hard!
I like to imagine this is probably just how she imagines him.
This is exactly it. It's so annoying because every attack he does has a shockwave, so you can't stay on the ground. He has this drop attack which is predictive. He also summons minions, and every time you refight him, he gets more minions. Like at one point, he gets Yep.
He's doing the running wave.
The best part is that at about refight 2, he gets Kamikaze Zotes.
Nice.
This fight is so fucking annoying and hilarious. Like I just laugh at the fucking show in the background with the one Zote fanning Bretta. And she's clapping at the fight as well. This is hilarious.
Because she's probably, yes, the men are fighting over me.
Yeah. I barely got out of that fight.
Also, is this insinuating that Zote the Mighty was also a failed vessel?
Yes. So the best part about this, every time you refight him, he gets 3 more titles.
Perfect. What's his... Do you happen to have his full title available?
You can Google it. I am not good enough to fight even beyond, like, refight 1 Zote. But here's the interesting bit. Well, not this, because I somehow Dreambladed Zote? The more you fight, Dream Zote, the more disenchanted Bretta gets with Zote. She never actually gives up, but, you know, she'll start heavily regretting her decisions.
Does that mean accessing people's dreams affects their psyche?
I believe so. Like, this is the only time we've seen this happen because she's the only living one. But now for the Grimm Troupe. The Grimm Troupe's mission is every, like, quarter of the DLC, you have to hunt down these flames on the overworld and gather them for your Grimm child. Now that kind of brings into the issue that this DLC is very repetitive. Like, it's 3 of the same fight 3 times.
Oh.
I think what they wanted you to do is, like, do this as you're doing the main story and not just at the end of it all. But, you know, that just makes it a lot easier to LP. And I will admit, the boss fights for this are really fucking good. So here's a baby flame holder. One thing I really appreciate is the music when you do these fights, because it's kind of ominous in a way.
Well, it's kind of that... It has a tinge of insanity to it.
Yeah. I was very happy. I did never notice that the bug gets happy when you do these. Well, the Grimm child, I should say.
So you seem to be less interested in what I'm saying. Oh.
What, you don't want to hear my churro story again?
Let me tell you, bitches love them churros.
Now, the first lap is kind of unimpressive. Mainly, you're just doing this part to advance the quest. Hi, boss. Never realized he got a spotlight as well.
I mean, he's a pretty cool looking dude, but he also screams, "I'm trying to look as cool as possible."
I'm succeeding, but still.
Get me a cup of water, please.
We got none of that here. Sorry. You're gonna have to go down like 300 feet to find a city made of water.
He does sound like he's a dry husk of a bug human thing.
Yeah. Now the cool thing about evolving the Grimm child is that it'll start actively helping you. Like at this point, he attacks with a fireball, not frequently, but you know, enough to be useful.
Hey, oh. I see you have a son now. What's his name?
Grimm, he's kind of an adoptee.
Oh, you're talking to me.
Well, bye.
Oh, well, of course.
That must be so rude, just like this elder bug looking and then crystal explodes in front of him.
I like their little like.
Yeah, it's really cool how ominous they start getting. Like, you could tell this ain't right. We probably shouldn't be doing this. But yeah,
I always kind of love those moments in a video game where it feels like you kind of know you're summoning a demon, but you're still going through the process of it.
Yeah. They're just as easy as the original version, but the 5-spread fireball can trip you up if you don't have a shadow dodge.
Oh. Yes, for fuck's sake, we know about the churro.
But let me tell you about the chocolate churros. They're very good. I had them once when I was in Prague.
Why? Oh, I thought that crying was the elder.
That would be great. I'm so lonely. Now we're gonna get to the first payoff of this whole quest.
Oh, so man. You like my ass.
Can't even see it. Are you ready for a show, Travis?
I've been waiting for a show.
Troupe Master Grimm is really fucking cool because he's just Dracula.
Yeah, he is just Dracula.
All of his attacks are very Dracula based. He even has Dark Inferno as seen here. He's also got a couple of his own unique things like that geyser stab there. And I did fail the fight once. If, like, astute eyes probably would have seen the smash cut there. But this fight is really fun.
It does. I love the amount of exaggerated animation comes into him moving around.
Yeah, it's really good.
He is that cool, but he knows he's that cool and thinks he's that cool.
Yeah. Now, if you see that attack where he charges forward and then uppercuts into 5 fireballs, I have no idea how to dodge that. Like, every time I fail this fight, it's because I eat shit with that attack. Now for this thing...
Oh, bullet hell.
Yeah, with dynamic music, too. It's hard to tell in the preview video, but when that happens, the audience in the background is applauding.
I'm assuming you gotta hit the bats. Oh.
You don't have to. That'll accelerate the phase. It's meant to be your get health back phase. But if you let it go, you do notice there's a drum roll and then people applaud his return. Like, this is the coolest fight.
Hey, look, he dodged an uppercut that time and that time.
Yeah, that's because this is like my second refight. Like, I eventually got my head out of my ass.
I do like how he changes direction when if you try to attack him in some of those mid attacks and basically tries to attack you from behind.
Yep. He is a very smart boss that is ready to kick your ass.
And he's very fast.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you're lucky enough... Oh yeah, if you ever try to charge him during a Dark Inferno, he runs away. Like, he's not gonna give you the time of day.
That uppercut's pretty dangerous because it hits you, it seems like, on the front end and the back end.
Yeah. I also have a hard time dealing with the geysers because I'm really bad at those kind of attacks. Yeah, when I first saw this attack, I just kind of sat there with my control like, holy shit, this is great.
Cheeto cheese balls. I like his dive kick too.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Morrigan.
Oh yeah, huh? Man, wouldn't that be like a shot out of left field? New dive kick update. Troupe Master Grimm.
Dive kick. Oh, bravo, bravo. He just exploded into blood goo.
Like, I used to think Radiance was a really cool boss fight, then they made this, and I was like, holy shit.
Skill fight, most likely you'll have to fight me again. And I'll be even more ridiculous.
Probably. Now, the dirty part about the fight is that you can't initiate it without Grimchild, and he takes it from you before the fight. So you go into this fight without 2 charm slots.
Oh, I didn't really think of that. Yeah, that's actually a good point.
Yeah, it didn't hit me as well, but I was just like, when I was first learning this, I'm like, man, this is kind of mean. But the reward, I feel, is really worth it.
Dracula, I think you might have pneumonia.
We got a charm slot.
Does it make us more charming?
Oh yeah. Well, I think we were already charming, Travis.
I mean, we do have the best lady here, the giant caterpillar woman.
Her unconditional love. Better than Bretta.
Bretta seems a little shallow.
Seems a little hollow.
Hey.
Hey. Now, the last phase of this is kind of interesting. Shit, I think I edited out the map, but in the last phase of the ritual, there are actually 4 nodes. Now, we only have to do 3, but one of them is interesting, and that's where we're going first. If I remember right, the nodes are in Deep Nest, Fungal Core, Ancient Basin, and the Hive. We're going to be going to the Deep Nest first.
That'd be funny if the little wing child was sitting in the back reading a newspaper.
Now that's some fan art I want to see.
Stocks are down.
Economy is in the bucket. Now this is going to be a little strange because I don't remember this guy being this tall.
I like his coat.
This is actually the accordion player.
Babala Geno.
Merm.
Yeah, this is where you realize that the flames you're gathering are actually the nightmares of this dead kingdom.
I burn nightmares at the end of this stick.
It's pretty metal, right?
Not as metal as my wool sweater.
But yeah, we only need 3 and we get 1 for free. However, Brum has a proposal.
Just want to see if you like me or like me like me.
I got a feeling it's the former.
Does the sweater make a difference?
So this is where the DLC forks. You can go ahead, complete the ritual, and do the final part of this, or you can team up with Brum and foil Grimm's plan. Now, there's just a slight problem with this. Both ends will lead to you getting the 106% completion. Like, that's a guarantee. You won't miss that. Doing Brum's end, though, will get you a badge that I honestly can't tell you what it does because I never went for it. But by doing so, you also miss out on the other boss fight of the DLC.
So we're not going to do both.
Well, you also cannot do both. For each save file, you can only do one thing. I opted to complete the ritual because A, the second boss fight. B, by doing Brum's quest, you also lose out on the chick who reinforces the fragile badges.
I always love video games because it's always a question like, look, I understand your morals, but I gotta fuse these badges, man. Fuck you.
Yeah. Now, part 3 of this little bit is not much different. He gets 1 to attack, but all his attacks do double damage now.
I like how his laugh changes each time, too. Now it's you almost did.
I'm going to destroy the world.
You seem to have trouble dodging my projectiles, you do.
It's almost like you haven't played this DLC in 2 months.
I'm sure
I've only
you
done
will
this-
hear shit about it on Something Awful, you will.
And now for the final fight. Trying to figure out how I want to prepare for this, because when I first played this, it took me 3 hours to beat this next boss. And it has the same problem as before. You're gonna be robbed of your little buddy here.
It's funny, he sounded like he reacted to that statement. Just went, yeah.
Now, the weird part about this is that they updated it recently. They never removed the chest before, so anytime you would try to do this refight, you would just crash into the chest. Now, part of me is kind of disappointed with the second boss fight, but also it makes sense, but is also still just as cool.
Damn creepy heartbeats.
I know, right? It's almost like we're in some kind of biological organism. Also, you remember how I said that the Radiants had the best boss intro ever? Not anymore.
Nightmare King is pretty strong.
Yeah. It's a good polar opposite to Radiance and his well, apparently Radiance is female, so her dream motif. But yeah, Nightmare Grimm is you know, Grimm again, but he does double damage, has this new attack, and it just doesn't stop.
Oh, and everything moves faster too.
Yep. There is no break in the tempo, but oddly enough, there are more opportunities to attack him, because his new attack leaves him open to a lot of attacks. Like, if you know how to handle this, you could get a lot of hits in.
So, does that attack track, like, where you're standing at that time? Or is it a pattern?
It tracks where you're moving, and it'll, like, lock onto you and then stop. So if you just, like, take incremental steps, you can lame out that attack. The main issue right now is that during that geyser attack, he's not on the field anymore, so you can't use that to get damage in as well.
I like his flame trail that now follows his dive kick too.
Yeah, it's really nuts. Like, he would be a shoo-in for dive kick. This is hilarious. Granted, he'd probably only be 2 inches tall, but still.
It's a dive kick combined with that thing that Dante does where he flies forward with his sword.
Oh, Stinger.
Yeah, it's a stinger and a dive kick all in one.
Yeah, it's almost like the developers found really good resources to draw from this guy.
They seem to be fans of Capcom and Konami.
Yeah. Now, if you're wondering, if it seems like this boss fight's going by pretty good, it did take me 2 hours to beat this boss. Like, this is the successful cut and not the best cut because, you know, I had to put something out.
I could have done better if they felt
I
like
really couldn't have. Like, I would not be able to do better. Because you really don't have opportunities to practice this boss.
For this boss, it seems a lot of like it's better just to wait out patterns and hit him on very specific attacks.
Yeah.
Like, it's patience.
Yeah, it's kind of like the weird issue I had with Dark Souls. Dark Souls does that as well, like the later Dark Souls, I should say, does that as well, and I don't like that because that game kind of wants you to do multiple hits, and then the boss fights are just get a single hit after an attack and then wait. Here it kind of makes sense because Hollow Knight doesn't have combos. So being patient makes a lot more sense.
Now, if that attack really wanted to be bullshit, it would be, here's flame pillars from here, but I'm blasting you with projectiles from above.
Yeah. I think that uppercut attack, though, is more than enough bullshit.
But the fact that he's not moving while doing this is almost a weakness in itself. He should be also, like, shooting little bullets at you.
Yeah.
Or little homing fireballs.
I think that would be a little bit overkill, because the sheer tempo of this fight means there are going to be almost no opportunities to heal. So now here's the big question. We're never really quite told what this ritual was? And I think I have a theory as to what it is when we, actually, you know, wake up.
A cat?
Yes, we summoned a cat.
Oh, wait.
I think the entire Grimm ritual was a reproduction cycle for, whatever species Grimm is. Because, like, notice how Grimm's not here anymore, but the kid we have now is uncannily like him. Kind of like an adolescent one. So we just kind of made another, Troupe Master Grimm.
So he consumed nightmare fuel to make a baby.
Yes. Basically.
Or basically just rebirth himself.
Yeah, I think it's either rebirth or just a very showy reproduction cycle. Because, what's his name? Brum mentioned that they are a race dedicated to serving their Troupe Master, but they're also empty. Their only purpose is to the ritual. So all these resources, all these things are dedicated to making the next Grimm child.
You know, it's a guess I have, because you mentioned that they're empty, is that he was also a failed Hollow Knight that instead of absorbing light, absorbed nightmares.
That would be interesting too, but the main issue with that is, he has identity, whereas the Hollow Soldiers really don't. And also, he didn't explode into, like, the black goo, like, Dream Zote, like the Collector, like the White Knight Guards. They kind of exploded in the black goo. He exploded into fire. So I think he's an alternate race entirely.
Who knows? By the way, I have the full title for the Zote at full power.
Go ahead and read it.
He is invincible, fearless, sensual, mysterious, enchanting, vigorous, diligent, overwhelming, gorgeous, passionate, terrifying, beautiful, powerful, great Grey Prince Zote.
Why is sensual in there?
I mean, she is laying on one of those long couches, so I guess.
It's such a lame title, but I love it. I gotta see if I could get, like, a screen cap in there while we're talking about this. Yeah, Zote's boss fight is the most hilarious thing. That's kind of why I kept it in there last, because it's so dumb. If I had put that in the middle of the LP, nothing would have topped it.
You know what I like about the fact that he runs forward wagging his blade around is it insinuates that that girl saw him do that, and instead of thinking it being lame, she thought it was super cool.
Oh god, I could totally see that. I didn't show it in the LP, but she writes so much fan fiction about both you and Zote. It's really weird.
Maybe it's a big point on people that do that sort of thing. Maybe your expectations don't necessarily match reality.
Yeah. Like, I found it appropriate that she became disenchanted with Hollow Knight because dude's empty. He doesn't have a personality at all. So, yeah, we have one last video, and it's probably going to be paired with this update, and, certainly strange. It's really weird. This is the first time I've ever done it, and I have questions.
That's a good setup. Confusion.
Yeah. So,
Even now.
hope you enjoyed part 1 of 2 of the final update of Hollow Knight. See you in the next video where things are gonna get odd.
Woof.